So this was a game that I played in a bit of a noisy pub. So all of the voiceover will be me talking after the fact. We've got the Alekhine's defence. This is the correct way to play it. He should now push the pawn. That bishop move was wrong. And that's how I like to just seal it up. I like to just, leave him sort of all at sea with the Alekhine, not knowing what to do next. I like this. They nearly always take en passant. They think it looks good. I swear they do it for the wrong reasons. Just to show off that they know it, or they think I don't know that it'll happen. But I love them to take that en passant because it gives me a lovely clear structure there. And now attacking my queen with this knight. Got a bit tricky with the knights. This actually did get a bit tricky with the knights because he's also got that forking square that he can fork my king and rook on. So my queen has to defend that square while simultaneously defending herself against knight attacks. Of course, the other knight could come in and attack now. So we've got to get rid of this whole threat of this knight potentially going onto that c7 square with check. It's starting to get harder and harder to defend that square. I mean, there was only really one square to move to continue to defend it, but it just kind of, this was a little bit scary. My queen felt like she might get almost trapped if I wasn't careful. So now, even though he's retreated with his knight, this kind of offer of a trade does defuse the possible horrors of the knight. And so now here he comes again. He's looking for fried liver now instead. And I suddenly realised, of course, I can just take that with my knight, because my knight's on an unusual square. It's one of the reasons I like to put my knights on unusual squares. Just blockading his pawn here now. So, yep, he puts his rook behind it anyway, but that pawn's not going anywhere as long as I've got anything to do with it. I want it to stay there. It's going to really cramp his style nicely. And I've castled. I've castled on the queen side, but it sort of works this time. It sort of works in this game. There is that weak diagonal there, but it's now strengthened. And his black bishop can't do anything really, his dark square bishop. Stuck itself behind that pawn in the hope of some sort of vague future revealed check. Now he decides that he actually wants to trade it off. Well, I decide that if I do this, the quantum still works in my favour. Yes, he can take that. That doesn't matter. Because still, even if I take that with the queen and keep the structure intact, stop that pawn from advancing, still the blockade. And now I've got plenty going on the other pawn. And I thought, let's just barrel. In fact, I saw this already a couple of moves before. That rather than opening up a file here by using his pawn, which would potentially give him a pass pawn, just get these barreled behind. Forget about bishops. Forget about opening files. Just get these two rooks here, barrel both the pawns up, fire two barrels of the shotgun, and he's going to be very hard pushed to defend against that. His bishop's practically useless as long as I keep that pawn blockaded. That bishop is useless. I can just really cause some serious mayhem now with these two double barrel shotgun. The correct pawn. It took me a long time to decide this next move because he could have closed it up if I'd got this wrong. I mean, I could have won the bishop, but his bishop's not worth anything to win. And I wouldn't really be I mean, it would have been hard. It would have been a difficult win. And I decided this was the way to really get it moving forward, because if he moves his pawn forward, it doesn't help things for him. This is really nice. This is really lovely what we've got here now. And then we can get a second barrel. There's just so much I can do here now. On comes the second barrel there. Didn't quite. Yeah, I was kind of his king doing an escape, that made me realise his king is in serious trouble. It made me realise more than he did. His king running away like that, the danger of back ranking was actually a very serious risk. And then I saw, of course, my queen is going to be like a light coloured bishop in a minute with a fair wind. His queen comes here. He's going for a trade of queens. He sees that the threat is so bad now that a trade of queens might be the only remedy. But of course, now I will win the bishop for free, but not before I've had some more checks. That is no good because of that pawn that I had sitting there. And now I've opened up a file towards his king, and a rook can take that. But rather than leave the bishop with something on it, I think I took the pawn first. Or what did I do? Oh, no, I did that very interesting move. Look at that. You can't capture it because of the bishop check. So yeah, I used a different rook from the one you'd have expected me to use. I didn't bring the bottom one along, because then his queen would have had her eye on it, and I didn't want that. I wanted his queen to be out of this. So this was a very interesting and slightly difficult checkmate. Got to get that light diagonal, you see, with the queen, with my queen. And that's where we do it. And there it is. My dark bishop with my queen. Beautiful checkmate combination. Got me up to 1966. I think I started off roughly at 66. Lost a few games, won a few games. And there we are. Good one, though.